Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. It's been a little bit. We did a video. We began working on a mini monster truck for my grandson here a couple of weeks ago. We started this bad boy here 6 months ago, I think. We've done 3 videos on it. Competition chopper. We've got it all forged out, rough ground. We've left this edge about a 32nd or so because we still need to heat treat it. But in this video here, we're going to start working on finishing this thing up. We probably won't get it all done in this video because it's going to require quite a bit of handwork and what have you, but we'll get a good start on it. We're going to get our holes drilled in our tank. We're going to be putting some brass up here where the bolster won't be a bolster, but there'll be some brass up here. And then I believe we're going to just put a micarta handle on it. And we got to put a hole back here for a lanyard. Because if it's a competition chopper, you have to have a hole for a lanyard, I guess. And I've heard some people say that the hole needs to be up here. I don't know. Never made a competition chopper before. I don't plan on using this in any competitions. It was just a fun project to make a big chopper. I've wanted to make one for a while, so we're just going to put a lanyard hole back here. But we'll get this drilled. It's good and flat. It's straight. There's no there's no bow in it or anything. It's a nice straight knife. We did a lot of grinder work on this thing. And it's nice and flat. It's still fairly heavy. If I remember right, I think we weighed this thing. I can't remember exactly where we're at, maybe like 1.5 pounds or somewhere around there. Anyway, that's our project for today. We're going to clean this up. We've still got a lot of, you can see in this steel, there's a lot of grinder marks from the belt grinder. We were using pretty heavy grit stuff. So we're going to take Scotch-Brite or a flat disc and kind of clean that up, because the cleaner you have this before you heat treat it and everything, the easier it'll be to clean up afterwards. So we'll get the logo stamped in it over here on this side. We'll get it cleaned up, we'll get it heated up, we'll stamp the logo in. And then we'll get our, before we do that though, we'll get our pinholes drilled. I kind of have to do a little bit of figuring where I'm going to put my brass and how much brass. It's not going to be a lot, but I just want a little brass up here to offset, to make it look nice. In fact, we may do brass up here and back here. I don't know, I haven't. It's been 6 months sitting on the shelf while we've been working on sand rails and little dune buggies and all these other things, and the season has been real busy at work. So let's go ahead and get this finished up today. Well, start getting it finished up today. We'll see how far we can get. So if you haven't seen the other previous 3 videos, you can go into my my channel, and while you're there you can subscribe. And if you want to know when new videos come out, click on that little bell up there in the corner and it'll let you know. You'll get a notification when I put out new videos. So you can scroll back through. There's 3 parts to this already. If you want to see all of the original videos, go see those. If you've already seen them, then hey, here's another one. So like I say, if you haven't, please do subscribe. Thanks to all my subscribers. I appreciate y'all. We're up to 265 now. Slow and go, but it is what it is. I'm not out here trying to make $1 million bucks. I'm just trying to have a good time and share what I do with you guys. And if one day it comes to the point where I have enough subscribers and enough watch time minutes and whatever to be monetized, great. Maybe I'll make $100 bucks a month or something to help me out, but anyway, it's just mostly for fun, just to put it out there and let you guys see what we do here. And and maybe give you some ideas for projects you'd like to do or whatever. It's not a teaching channel. I'm not trying to teach anyone anything. If you pick something up along the way that you can use, hey, knock yourself out, but that's not my intent. Some of the things I do are probably not the proper way to do things or whatever, but hey, it's my way. And like I say, I'm not trying to teach you how to do it, I'm just showing you what I do. So thanks for joining me today. Let's get to it. So we've got our knife pretty cleaned up here. We don't need it to be perfect because we've still got to heat treat it. But I've kind of drawn out here, this here will be brass, this will be brass. Because I need to figure out where to drill my holes for my tang. So we've got a nice piece of brass here, brass stock that I ordered off of Amazon or from Texas Knife Makers. I can't remember which one of those. That we'll use here and up here, a piece of that, and it'll look a lot better. It'll be all polished up real nice. And then we've got some Coca-Cola wood scales here for the center. I think that'll make a pretty good looking handle. I've got this, let me just show you the end of it here. It's kind of corroded sitting around. So I've got this, kind of hard to see with that light back there, but I've got this, oh, what do you call it? I can't think. There you go. I can kind of see the end of it. See how it's a special pin that I bought online. I don't know why I can't remember the term. Dang. Anyway, this is the pin we're probably going to use in the brass areas. Or not the brass areas. We'll use this in the areas where we have our coca-cola wood. And I've got this brass pin material that we'll use in the brass areas. And once they're pinned and glued and polished up, you won't even see the pins. It'll look like it's not even pinned. So that should work. That should work quite nicely. So, like I say, we got it marked out here where our brass is going to go, and now we just need to get our holes drilled for our pins before we heat treat this thing. Because I've made the mistake before of heat treating and then drilling, and it doesn't work out real well because your bits don't want to go through that hardened steel. But I usually try not to heat treat my handles. Lesson learned. I try not to heat treat the handles. I just need the blade heat treated. But sometimes, you know, inherently the handle will harden up a little bit. And I've also found that sometimes just by working the steel on the grinder, that can cause the material to harden. Don't know why. Maybe it's the heat fluctuations in it when you're grinding. But I've had a couple of handles before that, if you've watched some of my earlier videos, that just after grinding, before heat treating, I've tried to drill them and they wouldn't drill. Also though, keep in mind at that time I was using some really crappy, cheap bits. And since then I've ordered some really nice cobalt bits, and they seem to chew the steel up really nicely. So, and you might notice too that that we didn't clean the tang up quite as much as the rest of the blade. That's because we're going to rough this up anyway to get our epoxy to stick when we glue everything up. Once everything's ready. So let's get some holes drilled in this tang and move on to heat treating and what have you. guys, so we've got our blade pretty cleaned up here. We've got most of those grinder marks out of it. You know, if I really want to clean it up, it's going to take a lot of hand sanding. We've got our holes drilled in our tang here, and we just kind of marked out here with the Sharpie where we were going to put our brass and that. So now it's time to fire up the forge, I guess, and get this blade heated up. I can't remember, thinking back now, I'm gonna have to go and look back at the video to make sure before I get carried away. But I'm gonna have to go make sure I annealed this knife. I'm pretty sure I did. I can't imagine that I didn't. But it's been long enough that since I've worked on it that I'm really not sure. So I'm gonna have to go back and look at that video of when I forged it to make damn sure I annealed it, because if I didn't, that could be a problem. So I'll have to do it now if I didn't before. So we'll go and we'll take a look at that. It'll be a few minutes for me, but we'll be right back for you, and we'll get this forge fired up. We'll heat it. We'll stamp our logo here in the flat, and then we'll reheat it, and then we'll quench it. So, and I'm not sure it'll fit in my quench tank. I'm gonna have to check that out too. I may have to come up with something bigger to quench it in, but anyway, we'll be right back. Guess that's the sound we're looking for, guys. A lot of times people make a mistake of thinking that their blade's not hard because when you first hit it with the file, you don't get that crisp ringing sound. It's kind of a dull sound because you've got forge scale on there that you're filing off first. And so I've seen guys take and hit it with their file, and it doesn't sing the file right away, so they re-quench it again because they're thinking it didn't get hard. And I've seen people do that 2 or 3 times because they don't give their file enough time to get the forge scale off. So, you know, we've got the forge scale off. That skates a file real well once you get the forge scale off of it. Now see, if we do this side, you notice it's a little lower, but as soon as you get it through that forge scale, she's hard. So came out good and hard. We don't have any warp in it at all. It's still perfectly straight. It's a heavy enough blade that I didn't really think we'd get any warp in it. The one little problem that I am noticing here, doggone it, shoot, you can see right here, right above where I put my, here's my logo right here, and you can see right here a little bit of a swale where I whacked at. I've had that happen before, and I didn't think to take my hammer and make sure it was straightened back out. It is fairly noticeable. Shoot. I hate to reharden the thing. But I think I'm gonna have to. Because that's a pretty noticeable little dip there where I whacked it with the stamps. Alright guys, so I did go ahead and reheat the knife because we just had that little swale right here where I hit it with the hammer, where it went, you can see the tang is thicker up in here than the blade is here. So when we whacked it on the anvil to put the logo in here, it pushed the blade back this way, and so we had a little bit of a swale, and it drove me crazy. So I went ahead and I reheated the knife again, and I hated to do that because I hate to retemper or harden my knife, quench it after it's been done. But I had to get that out of there. What I should have done if I would have done it the right way is, as soon as I did that, flip the knife over, tap it a couple times with the hammer, make sure it was straight, because I've had that happen before on knives when I put my logo on them. But I guess no harm, no foul, because we went ahead and I went ahead and heated that up again, straightened that. We re-quenched the blade, and it's a good solid. It hardened up real nice, skates a file real nice. So after that, I took it upstairs. We put it in the oven, 2 cycles at 450. I normally go like 425 for 2 cycles of an hour and 15 minutes. But this blade is so big and heavy that I decided to go with 450 for 2 cycles. Love those bits. Look at how clean those holes. And it drilled it like butter. So a little bit of advice: if you're gonna buy drill bits to work on blades and you're gonna be drilling a lot of steel, you know, it would behoove you to go online. I fought for over a year with cheaper bits from Harbor Freight, and I think I bought another set from Home Depot that were a little better, but not to put those guys down, but you know, they are what they are. But I ordered this set of Cobalt bits online, and man, they sure do a good job. They stay sharp. I couldn't be happier with those. So just a little FYI, if you're going to be drilling knife tangs and making knives, it's a good idea to get some decent bits. In the long run, you know, some of those cheaper bits, I could tear one up on one knife and it was pretty much ruined. So, and I'd really have to pry on my drill press to get the bit to go through in the first place. And with these, they're just like butter. You just have to be careful not to get it hot, use your oil, you know, what have you. But so here we go. We've got our knife's been tempered. We got the logo in. Beautiful crisp holes there. And it seems pretty irrational that I would clean it up as well as I did, and then, you know, do this to it again with the heat treat and the tempering. But if you look, it's still pretty clean. I mean, you know, it's discolored from heat treating and tempering. There's a little bit of forge scale on it, But we'll knock that off of there really easily tomorrow. We're gonna end this video here for today. It's pretty late. We're looking at, it's going on 8 o'clock. It's a little after 7:35. And so we're gonna bag it for tonight. We'll finish. Well, we won't finish it. I don't think we'll finish it, but we'll get on the finish work tomorrow, cleaning this up. We're gonna etch this blade. I've been struggling back and forth whether I wanted to just clean it up real pretty or if I wanted to etch these flats. And so we're gonna go ahead and etch it. I'm not sure if we're just gonna etch the flats up here, just these flats up here above the bevels where you can see just this flat area, or if I want to go ahead, because our bevels are ground. We just need to put the final edge on there, and that final grind isn't going to come up very far on there. We're just going to have maybe, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch or a little more up from the edge of shiny steel when we're done grinding these final bevels, because we've got all the grinding done for the most part. So I may just do the whole thing, or I may decide to go ahead. I just don't know how I want to do it yet. I may go ahead and take this off right along where the bevels are ground to. Just take that off and just etch this up here, and then clean the rest of the blade up real nice, and we'll see. Kind of leaning towards etching the whole thing and just having the shiny just where the new final grind is on the edges of this. But we've got a lot to do yet. We've got to put our brass up here and our brass back here. I think I'm going to have to make some micarta for scale liner. I think I'm out of smaller scale liner material, so I may have to throw in some micarta. It's probably going to be a couple more videos, but this is number 4 of the competition chopper build. So tomorrow we'll do number 5. We'll get as far as we can, and this isn't forged in fire. We don't slap handles on in 2 hours. We really want a clean, beautiful, professional looking handle on here. So it's going to take a little more than 2 hours to get this all finished as nice like we want it and everything. So there we go. At least we're back on it, right? It's been 6 months since I did the 3rd video on this, and that was just the forging and the heat treatment and the initial grinds and cleanup and that, and profiling the knife. So we'll get as far as we can tomorrow, get as much done as we can. And today was Friday. I was off work, so we've still got the whole weekend. So it'll probably be at least a couple more videos before we get this thing finished up. But tune in to tomorrow and see what we do. We'll see how far we get. So we'll get this edited, get this video up tonight, and hopefully we can get quite a bit done on it tomorrow. Like I say, you know, you can make a knife in just a few hours if you want to just slap it together and it's a usable knife, but it's not very pretty. And I want this knife to be beautiful when we're done with it. So like I say, I had to go buy a container. The container that I have, I measured my knife, and about that much of the blade is still sticking out of it, so not nearly deep enough to etch this blade. So tomorrow we get it cleaned up real nice, get it smoothed all up, get all the crud off of it, and get it shiny again, and get it back to where we want it as far as our finish. Get it as close as I'm not going to make it a mirror finish, because that's just a butt ton of work. I mean, use hand sand, you know, and for eternity. I mean, it just takes forever. And so we're not going to do that. we're probably just going to Scotch-Brite it, get it cleaned up as nice as we can with some Scotch-Brite pads and my die grinder over there, my pneumatic die grinder. We'll get it cleaned up as much as we can, and it'll look nice. And then we're going to go ahead and etch that blade, and then we'll start getting our handle scales put on. And we've got to get them on. I don't like handling the knife with a sharpened edge, because I mean, I make my knives razor sharp, and I just don't want to handle that knife trying to put the scales on and everything with a razor sharp edge. I always wait. But you can see the way this is done, our brass is going to start right about at this little hump right here and come down like this, and it'll stop right here. And so our brass is only going to be like to right there. So we're not in any danger of touching our handle when we grind these bevels. So why grind the bevels and then have to work around? You know, I can't just grip the knife like this. I either have to put tape on it or, you know, whatever, be real careful. So I usually always do my handle scales and all of that first before I do my bevels. So we'll get it cleaned up. We'll get our brass cut. We'll start getting things shaped where we want them. We'll get it etched first. So it'll be cleaned up. We'll get it etched, and then we'll start putting our handle pieces together. I was going to use some black micarta that I had made for the handle, but I want to go a different route. I've got some Cocobolo scales over there. We're going to use those instead. I think that'll just look really nice with the brass. So thanks for joining me, guys. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. Please hit that subscribe button. Like these videos, man. Give them a thumbs up. That'll help me with YouTube recommending my videos more if y'all do that. And click on the little bell up there. That will let you know when I've put up a new video, or if you comment on a video and ask a question, and I try to answer every comment. My channel's not that big yet, so I can answer every comment, even if it's just a thank you. But you won't know that I answered that comment unless you come back and check. But if you click on that little bell up there, you'll get a notification that I replied to your comment. So I appreciate everybody that's already subscribed. And like I say, if you haven't, please do. Guys, be careful when you're working in your shop. Always use your safety gear. I skinned a finger a little bit today with a flap disc. We didn't record that, but the initial grind from the belt grinder that I had on the blade were too heavy for they were just too much for the Scotch-Brite pad to take off. So I threw a flap disc on and knocked down the heaviest part of that, of those grinder marks. And then we took our Scotch-Brite pad and went over it some more, and it cleaned up pretty nice. So I didn't video that part, but while I was doing that, I got done grinding for a second, went to reach around and grab the handle of the grinder to set it down on the bench, and I just hooked my little finger on that. You can't really see, but it shaved the skin a little bit there. If I'd have had some type of sharp tool on there or something, it could have been a lot worse. So be careful in your shop, guys. Get out to your shop and do something, clean it. You know, build something, fix something, make something, tear something up. Just get out to your shop and let it go, have some fun, and you'll find it very therapeutic. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.